And so a lot of people think, like, as far as the paintings or sketches, like, I'm not a planner. I'm
No,
an intuitive builder.
But that's
I'm
more like
builder.
that's more like the Stabler
Yes.
and Volcus and the Beat Generation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You just do.
So what I like to do when I make the things is, like, I'll put the figure up, and then I'll slice it, and then I'll twist it, and then I'll slice it, and I'll take the torso in 3 points, and I'll take the rib cage, the abdomen, and the pelvis, and I'll slice, as I'm building, I'll slice them and turn them, and slice them and turn them. And the thing is that there's so many possible variations that you just have to stop and look. And I'd say a lot of my work is I'm just like stopping and looking. And then seeing and twisting. So
and then
that's part
what's
of it.
going on with the lines? I mean, there are lines everywhere.
The lines.
The
lines.
lines.
Yeah.
Because I understand that you're trying to make clothing, but then there's these other lines.
Yeah, they're just sort of like free, just sort of.
So you're
free,
marking them?
Expressive lines, and they're also a wonderful way that I can incorporate like little small bits of color into the work. And I think of the work kind of like geology, like when you look at how water takes the color down and things scratch.
Because it's more, in a way, it's weird. They're kind of like watercolors or oil pastels, aren't they?
Yeah, they very much are. But it's all ceramic media. You can see some of it's scratched.
Right.
Some of it is cut. Like I'll use a tool that I'll slice with. And I think that my influence from the Stabler is pretty where I came up from in San Francisco State. Like Kuroka would flay us if we painted anything, and that really stuck. And like these days, everybody's painting everything, and it's not a big deal anymore. But for me, it's a big deal, you know. And I like the more media I can get, the better. I use powders, I use underglazes, I use pencils, everything I can.
Great.
And I like to keep the marks, you know, like my students are always asking, how do I make this smooth? And I'm like, don't make it smooth. Because you make it smooth and then there's nothing.
But you seem to have picked a 5-color palette, basically.
Yeah, there's blues, pinks, oranges, purples. The problem is like,
that's the palette.
I can't get, if I could get more colors, I would.
But that's the palette.
But I'm not an earthy person.
But that's the palette.
That's the palette. I don't go in for earthy.
That's the palette.
I was painting on the side and wondering, like, where is the painting? Why am I so drawn to just like putting color on canvases? Like, what's that all about? And then I started to see them with the first wall pieces. I started to see, oh yeah, the lines continue onto the wall. So I think of them as kind of like canvases, which is one of the reasons why I like to, keep them simple, like not a lot of arms and legs and stuff like that. So they're very formal. I think my interest is very formal. It's about weight and gravity and surface, texture.
They're rough.
They're rough.
They're not super finished in a traditional.
No, they're not. I had a big piece that I had pulled out on a slab roller.
Yeah.
And I kicked it over because it was up against a wheeled cart, and I kicked it over and it broke.
Yeah.
And it was late at night. I was preparing for a show, and I'm like, Dad. And so I looked over and I saw all the kiln shelves just sat there, and I thought, wait a second, those are made out of clay.
Right.
And so why couldn't I just glaze them up?
Right.
So that's what I did. And then they provided the backdrop, but they also gave me the vehicle to go from like painted canvas onto the clay. So I was thinking of them as sort of like as sketches, like as drawings, like as part of the studio process. That's where, as I was building the pieces, I was sketching them on. And another thing that I found that was really interesting and similar is that Degas would sculpt and then paint. He would sculpt the horses and then he would paint the horses. So he wanted to understand them in sculptural form before he would paint them. Rodin was exactly the opposite. He would paint after his sculptures.
Oh wow!
So it's the two different things.
And I mean, you're getting, when I was in Chicago, they said on that one, they said, "Oh, she does glass."
Oh, funny.
And I said, no.
No.
I said,
in fact, the glass people told me I couldn't do this. And I said, can't we put glass in the ceramics kiln? She goes, no, you can't do that. And I said, well, how come? And she said, because there's the annealing process. And I thought, oh, okay. But then I did it anyways.
You did it?
Thinking about, for the last several years, of trying to always get away from the pedestal, which is so hard to do because you're always trying to put something up on a pedestal unless you build from the ground up.
Right.
I saw these pieces at the Rodin Museum in Paris, and the entire museum uses sculpture stands, and I was like, that is brilliant because it kind of brings the studio into the gallery.
Right.
And when they've redone the museum,
well, they're sculpting stands.
They're sculpting stands.
Yeah.
They're basically exactly like this. They're big, chunky stands that are holding his work. And I thought that maked so much sense. And I went
because it's the way he created it.
I went out to his workshop, which is down at the very far edge of in New York. His workshop is incredible. He had this one whole